Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be the BSL 20 Hasuleague round of 8 second match of the semifinals. This is going to be the, actually still says match 1 on the overlay. Always missing something. Anyway, this is going to be on Radeon. It is a best of 5. This time we have White starting the bottom left hand corner as the White Protoss. Very iconic. Upper left hand corner we've got Bayaster as the green Protoss. A little bit of lag between the two. Hopefully that does not impact the play too much. This will be on Radeon. And I'm going to do a quick swap and a quick out just so you can see the overall bracket while hopefully not a lot is happening. So here you can see top end of the bracket. Yui has advanced 3-1 over Tom. If I've got this right, they'll face whoever wins between Bayaster and White. So get that flash up there also so you guys know what's coming down the line. Anyway, Pylon out in the forward location. Pylon here. This is honestly throughout Hasuleague. I feel like this is another one of those classic matchups. I feel like White versus Ghostfer I mean, we've seen that match many times. Bayaster versus White also in that mix. I'm trying to think who's come out more in this. I think White more often has ended up the victor between the two. I am not surprised to see White here, especially considering his path. Granted, he dropped a few games making his way through and kind of struggled to get into the semifinals, but I'm not shocked that he advanced into this round of 8. Bayaster, though, is definitely one of the guys that would put right around his skill level. And so I think I'm going to give a slight edge to White, but I think Bayaster, especially the way he's been playing lately, could definitely win this. And I will say that a lot of these guys, unfortunately for both these guys, they might have to play a Zerg after the fact. Everybody else across the ladder can practice PvP potentially all the way to the finals, and we'll see if Yui, although Yui has been playing fantastically, refuses to lose in a lot of these matchups. By the way, maybe a 2-gate, maybe a 1-gate into expansion. This is looking like it's going to be 1-gate into expansion here for Bayaster on a 4-player map. White, in the meantime, has got his assimilator up and the cybernetics core up as well. Scouted top right first, ran into the probe. I'm not sure if he checked the angle, so might be able to adjust to the left. And is this going to be, I'm waiting to see whether we see Bayaster. He's queued up 2 zealots here initially. Interesting play. Defensive zealot, but still no gas. So I think Bayaster is thinking about maybe mocking as though he's going 3-gate, or 2-gate I should say, and is in fact wanting to go 1-gate into expansion. Fortunately for him, now he has effectively lost a lot of mining time. Gonna have to, did he hide the probe successfully? Might have hidden that probe successfully, but now White's going to be able to careen in. See, first of all, lack of gateway. Might think that in the midst of this, oh man, this has to be proxy tech, potentially. Does the Zealot get an inverted to blockade? Does not get an inverted blockade. Finds the Nexus at the natural expansion. Zealot's holding in the meantime. Now the question is how does White respond? So going to go, has already gone Dragoon and range. I kind of like Bayaster's option to do that on this map in particular because it is a larger map. Ooh, Zealot allowing the invader in briefly. So things might go from bad to worse here for White, as he's already potentially taking some damage here on the worker line. The Dragoon gonna go ahead. I like this here from Bayaster. He's creating a delay so that second Zealot potentially can make its way in. The probe, by the way, retreating with another probe alongside, interestingly enough. I think that's some miss micro there from Bayaster. White well behind as far as the overall worker count, by the way. Was able to pick off 1 worker there. Granted, there's going to be 2 worker sacrifice potentially, but I don't think that Zealot got any kills. Looks like he finally got a kill. So now White 14 versus 19 workers overall, but a second probe very close. Looks like it is going to be able to escape with its life. But as far as the follow-up, do we have a Forge? Yep, okay, Forge has been dropped here for Bayaster, and 2 cannons are morphing in, and that should be plenty to provide some defense in the midst of this. It looks like White's going to make the best of it, go 1-gate into robotics. He does have, as far as responses, sometimes you can go 1-gate robo into DT, try to drop DTs in the main. Sometimes you can just rush for that Reaver, try to get some damage in the natural expansion. Other times, just go 1-gate robo as far as a follow-up. Probe actually able to sneak through from Bayaster, so folding out to the 9 o'clock and then making its way back in, so it's going to get additional scouting information to be able to see what the potential follow-up would be, and sees range potentially completing here. So has to feel good about his current situation. So natural expansion up, he's up a huge swath of workers. The 3 cannons are worth it. White has dropped the robotics, and it looks like he is meandering out to go ahead and grab that natural expansion himself, but he's certainly behind here as far as early game economics. Cybernetics core now dropping. It's kind of, Brood War is definitely one of those games where if you invest in something in the early game, if you invest in tech, you really want it to be doing something for you. Reavers, great investment if they're going and punishing worker lines, or if they're picking off units, or they're keeping you safe against a larger gateway incursion. In this instance, White investing heavily in Dragoon range, in the robotics facility, etc. And instead, Bayaster able to just sit back off these 2 bases, and all that early investment in tech not doing anything for White. In the meantime, that's opened up a 10 worker lead for Bayaster. He's also tacked on numerous additional gateways, so he's going up to the 4 count. I wouldn't be shocked to see him even invest up to 6 here. Range just starting to upgrade. We are seeing shuttle first, and a second gateway, the robotics support bay, also constructed. And the Dragoons and Zealots holding the line in the meantime. So there is a possibility that we'll see an elevator out into the main. White does need to get something done economically. It looks like he is creating a Reaver right this second. Natural expansion about to come online, but he's got a huge gap of workers that he's got to overcome here, and there's a closing window as 4 gateways are now up, and soon Bayaster will potentially have enough troops to not just defend his natural expansion against Reaver incursions, but potentially his main as well. Second gas also tacking on, and he's dropped the defensive cannon in the main. That would have definitely helped against Dark Templar, should that have been the play. It looks like it is in fact going to be Reaver instead. Next question, does White delay and wait for the second Reaver? By the way, we also have a Citadel of Adun for Bayaster. It is possible he's just going to make his way straight to High Templar tech, but he also does have that option of going DTs underneath this himself to create a little bit of additional frustration out on the map for White. Oh, I got a sneeze in the midst of this that's coming. Sneeze commentary, bless me. Zealot Lake Speed also being upgraded from Bayaster. That I think that synergizes really well with the early forge, particularly if you can invest in +1. 3 Dragoons pocketed to the south. You can see for Bayaster, he's got a really good line of sight all the way around, and there's not a lot of entry options for the Reavers, so might be relegated to just trying to defend the front. But right now, I believe Bayaster has a larger army than White. Zealot taking a free hit. So it looks like 2 cannons are going to drop. Or the Dragoons are not making their way, though, to the low ground. So White opening up a little bit of a pocket here. Probes are now evacuating here for Bayaster. A little bit of a late reaction. White going to get some... So this is going to shut down the natural expansion economy. Dragoons now moving forward into this. Bayaster, he's not drawing the Dragoons down to the south. He would have a pretty decent attack force if that was the case. Instead, a portion of his army missing. Zealots eating some damage. Now the rest of the army being drawn, and that is going to force White to retreat, but did get a little bit of delayed mining time and a bit of additional damage. White exiting the shuttle somewhat damaged. Unfortunately for White, got a little bit, so got 3 cannons, didn't manage to take out that pylon, and now all of a sudden Bayaster has a massive army lead, and with 3 gateways producing, without the Reaver back at the main, and I don't know that that Reaver is going to be able to make its way back, but Reaver dropping back the natural expansion. This honestly shouldn't bother Bayaster at all. He's got a game-winning army that's diving back towards the main. A Reaver, there will be a Reaver. I don't know that it's going to be in time. Zealots with Zealot leg speed can also reinforce across this map extremely rapidly. White holding the high ground, holding the probes on the low ground as long as possible. We've got that pylon to the forward position creating some AI problems. The Reaver is there, but it's got the Zealots right on top of it, and they manages to spread out. So that's going to be a dead Reaver. So now we got 5 Dragoons with some Zealots on top of everything else, and that should be GG right here. Yeah, GG from White. Game 1 goes to Bayaster with a nice risky Nexus open and getting some good follow-up scouting information, just rolling it over right there for honestly a very comfortable Game 1 win. We'll see if there's some adjustments from White Game 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.